Hi, Carly.
Hello, Kim. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Doing good.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's just start since you're on already. What intrigued you about the mind body connection? And what was the path that led you to becoming a yoga therapist and personal trainer?
Yeah. Well, what intrigued me about the mind body connection was when I was a teenager, started having panic attacks. But back then, people didn't know there was a word for anxiety. Like it's so common now. But back then they're like, you're crazy. And I was like, no, I know I'm not crazy. So trying to understand and learn, I was very intrigued at what was happening when I would get anxious and my chest would tighten and suddenly, when a doctor said you're having a panic attack, I thought, what the heck is that? So I just started out in search of self-help. So started doing a lot of reading. I was always very interested in fitness. I had grown up watching my mom, take me to the community center and doing aerobics. And I just thought that was really, really fun. And so I started noticing a connection between my activity level and my mental state. And so I started becoming really more curious, doing more reading and training in the gym and things like that, noticing how my mental state would improve just from getting stronger. It was like, wow, if my body's strong, my mind feels so much more strong and confident as well.
And did that help with the attacks?
It did some, but I still wasn't quite making that connection yet. That came with yoga. That was the only thing that has truly helped with anxiety for me. That was all because I was introduced to the breath work that comes along with yoga.
Okay. And that helps with anxiety and panic
Yes,
attacks.
yes, because I started to learn how not only is the mind and body connected, but the breath and the mind is connected. So imagining when you're in a state of feeling flustered or angry, your breath is,
Yeah.
you have a calm mind when you're up here and your breath is all in your neck and shoulders and all this tension is here, then your mind is going to be in the same space. But if you let go, take a few deep breaths, take a few exhales, then the mind will start to calm down along with the breath. So when I started making that connection as well, then the anxiety really started to calm down. But it took practice. It's a big practice, just like learning any physical practice, the breath work's a practice.
Is it hard to do the breath work? I mean, is there a certain way you have to do it? Or is
It's
it pretty
not
easy?
hard. It's just practice and patience. So I guess that can be hard. Patience is something that we're not always the best with. So having that introspective curiosity and patience can be hard, but the practices itself are not hard.
And is this something that you would have people do every day or just when they're having anxiety?
No, I would have them do it every day. In fact, what I would recommend for people is to have a breath work journal. And so they
Oh,
start by practicing 2 minutes a day. And, I would maybe advise them to write down how they feel afterwards. And I would prescribe them kind of a practice to start with. Yeah. And if they are having a panic attack or it's coming into that, I would say afterwards, write down what you noticed. And then you can start to put that breath work into practice later, but it's not something so immediate.
okay. That sounds interesting. A breath journal.
Yeah.
I mean, I journal, but I've never heard of that.
Yeah. And in fact, someone that's in actually what I call a red zone or a state of panic and they're in it, you can't tell them to breathe. You can't tell them to do anything
Right.
because
Right.
they are elevated and they cannot get there. So if you think of the word emotion, it's E and then motion. Someone who's in a panic attack, I would immediately tell them to move, do something, prescribe them some type of exercise to move that emotion through. Then they'll be able to receive. Now let's try and do this breath work.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
What's the difference between yoga therapy and a regular yoga class? And is yoga therapy individualized depending on the client's needs?
Yes. I mean, yoga and yoga therapy are both individualized to the student's needs.
Okay.
And although I'm not a certified yoga therapist, I was trained by a yoga therapist.
Okay.
And I want to make those distinctions a little bit clearer because a lot of people don't know. There are different yoga certifications. There's a 200-hour, which is your basic 1-year certification, 500-hour, and then yoga therapy. So 500-hour is 2 years, and then yoga therapist is another 2 years. So right now I'm at 500 hours, but I have a lot of different certifications that tie into that as well. But yoga therapy and 500-hour yoga instructors is someone who can take a more in-depth approach with their student. They look at not just the pose, but how the person is, their mental state and how they can address all of that together holistically. I do work a lot one-on-one.
You do? Okay. Mm-hmm. So it's different because you're looking at the mental state, not just a pose. That's right. How it's different a little bit.
It is. It's a little bit different with that. And then also with the type of yoga that I teach, because of course there's all different types of yoga. There's
right.
There's, just holding poses and for long periods of time. There's vinyasa yoga, which means flow, or some people interpret it as power. And so the type of yoga that I have the largest certification in is called Vini Yoga. And Vini Yoga initiates all the movements with the breath. So for example, it's like an inhale, the arms come up, and the exhale, the arms go down. So there's a tie-in with moving the body along breath and movement together.
There's so many different kinds out there. I don't know how anybody can choose which one they want. There's so many.
Exactly. There are so many. And I think it's important to ask, if you're looking into finding a yoga teacher, how much education do they have? What's their certification? Do they have a certification? It's worth asking, because yoga, you are moving and opening muscles. Some people open in places they didn't know they had. They're like, I didn't know I had this muscle here.
Oh, really?
That, So those muscles can store and hold emotions. So if you're here a lot and you're shy or you're introverted, and suddenly you come into a yoga class and you're asked to open, that can make you feel uncomfortable, vulnerable. So you have to make sure you're in a space, in a class, or with a teacher that understands what kind of emotions can be brought up.
What about if somebody has an injury? I mean, somebody told me to go to yoga once, and I had a back injury, and it was because of what I was doing. I was making it worse. And so then my PT said, I don't want you doing that right now. So should you tell the yoga teacher that you have an injury?
Yes. And the yoga teacher should ask.
Okay. Mm-hmm. They should ask each student when they come in if you have an injury, and then they can do something. They can refer you out. They might say, if you have a bulging disc right now, it's best that you hold off on yoga until you see a physical therapist or a trained medical professional. So that's something that as yoga teachers, we need to be very careful of, making sure that we can refer out. Or you can see someone like me that has a certification in yoga for low back pain. So it's something that I specialize in as an adjunct to my 500-hour certification. Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah. So again, not claiming to know how to diagnose or cure, but being able to possibly assist depending on the level of severity of the injury. It's something I could be able to help with.
Do a lot of people come to you that have injuries?
Yes.
They do?
Yeah.
What kind of injuries do people normally have besides back pain? I know you specialize in that, but what
neck and shoulder. Of course, we're all living in this, world where we're here.
Right. Text neck.
Yep. Yeah. So we're all in these places where we're looking down at our phones or on the computer or sitting at a desk all day. So a lot of people are really tight in the front of their body from being seated in this posture. Yes. So also knees. Knees is another big.
Oh, really?
People that have knee replacements or need knee replacements. So neck, shoulders, low back, and knees.
Okay. Yeah. I know a lot of people with knee injuries.
Yep.
I don't have knee injuries, but I know a lot of people just say they're terrible. And so yoga can help that.
Yes. Yep. You want to strengthen the muscle around the knee so that those muscles can help support and you're not just pressing and using the joint all the time, but strengthening the supporting muscles around the joint.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you use anything like bands or chairs or anything like that?
Yeah, depending on the class. I use all different kinds of props. I use blocks, yoga straps, sometimes hula hoops even as a prop.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you do with the hula hoop?
It can open the shoulders so you can hold the hoop, and then you can put your hands, I don't know if you can see very well, I'll come down here. But you can press your hands into the outside of the hula hoop. It's a way to strengthen the arms and open the chest. And then pulling the hoop down, and then you're engaging the arm muscles and then pressing it back up. So there's lots of different ways to use the hoop. Another way to use the hoop is to take it around the head and then back and around. And so it just widens and opens the front of the body in different ways. It gives you something to hold on to. It's a prop.
Well, now I want to go find my hula hoop because all I do is hula hoop. Do you ever have anybody hula hoop? Does anybody actually?
I make my own. Yep.
You what?
Yep.
Did you say you make your own?
Yes.
You made your own hula hoop.
Yes, I'm a certified hula hoop dance instructor.
So when you say made your own hula hoop, do you mean you physically made a hula hoop?
So I order the piping. There's all different colors. You can order it. It's called polypro tubing. So it's very lightweight. And I have all the tools, and I measure to the type, to the person. You have to measure it up to their belly button, and then you can make your own, and you can tape it up in whatever glittery or tape you want, or nothing.
What a fun project.
It's really fun. Yeah.
So people get individualized hula hoops.
Yeah.
Oh, I want one. I want one with glitter.
I can get that for you. I have all kinds of tape.
Know that. Wow. That's incredible. I never knew you could make your own hula hoop.
Yep.
Oh, do you make your other props too?
No.
Okay. You don't like cut your wood for the blocks?
No, don't cut wood for the blocks. Don't make my mats.
So you use straps and blocks and hula hoops.
Yes.
And what else? Is there anything else that you use?
Chairs. Definitely use chairs. And then for yoga for golfers, golf clubs. So
no.
Yeah, you can use them as a prop. Mm-hmm.
They can. Do they put it above their head or?
Yep, they can put it above their head. They can also warm up by holding a golf club right across the shoulders and holding it here and rotating the shoulders just to warm up the upper back. And then just stretching, holding on to the head of the club and reaching out and tapping the club. And these are all things you can do on the golf course as well.
And so people do that before they play golf.
Yes, or during. If they're playing a long round of golf and they need some stretch, then they can take their club, bring it overhead, pull back, things like that.
Oh my goodness. So do you make custom-made clubs?
No.
Oh, darn it. I'm sure people would like them in different colors with glitter, just like the hula hoop.
The only other interesting thing I make that has nothing to do with fitness is dollhouse miniatures.
Okay, well, tell me about that. I'd love to hear about that.
I don't do it very much anymore because it's extremely time consuming. But I took a course through Cornish College and decided to look into making miniature food out of polymer clay.
Miniature food?
Yeah.
Miniature food like fake food or real food? Yeah.
Fake food out of polymer clay. So just little clay food.
Well, that's a great way to stay on a diet because it's fake food. You're not going to want to eat it.
Yep.
Although maybe you make it look real. I don't know.
It does look pretty real, but it's very small.
Carlye, you are multi-talented.
All kinds of just fun and playful things. I think that's what I like is with the hoops, it brings in an element of playfulness and, dollhouse miniatures, working with clay. I just like to do things that keep life light and fun because life is heavy. And so we have to bring in those elements of play.
Yeah. And then I know something that you told me before is that you used to be a makeup artist.
I did.
Tell me about that.
Yes, that was very fun. That was something that I, when I was little, I said I wanted to be an artist. And, my parents said, well, that's nice, but artists don't make any money. So I said, well, okay, how can I do art? And I thought, I love makeup so much. And so I would get magazines and try the latest look and go to Bartell's. It was the only store at the time that carried a lot of makeup, and do my makeup. And then I started going to Jean Juarez all the time. And when I was probably 19, I was in beauty school, and I would go talk to the makeup artist.
So you would go there to Jean Juarez, not to get a service, but just to talk to the makeup artist.
Yeah, I was interested if she would help teach me about all these things. And back then, I don't know if you remember, but they'd have color draping. So they take those swatches of fabric and they put them on you like red, orange. And if that looked good with your skin tone, then they would say, oh, you're a warm skin tone, so therefore you need this makeup. And they do blues and purples. Oh, you're a cool skin tone. So I learned so much. And so once I graduated from beauty school, the woman that I had seen, this makeup artist at Jean Juarez, actually called and asked if I'd be interested in working there. And so that's how I started.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I can't wait to go makeup shopping.
Yes, that'll be fun.
That will be fun. So also, you are a personal trainer.
Yes, I'm a personal trainer.
She does everything. You do everything.
Yes, I do.
And so how does the personal training help with the yoga? Do you use both of them?
I do. I use
with clients.
Yes, I use them both. I use them synergistically, and I really like how there's the importance of the spine is really important in yoga. So a lot of people that are in the fitness industry don't place enough emphasis on spinal health or strengthening the back. Those are things that yoga places more importance of. So if someone wants to build their core, well, then I'm also going to remind them that directly behind that, they need to also strengthen their back. So working with those things together helps me to become a more well-rounded personal trainer.
So when people come to you, are they actually doing both things in one class, or do you do one class and then the other class?
Sometimes I'll do, one day more yoga focused, and then one day I might do just more weight training. But if I'm having someone that's using weights, then I'm going to continually remind them, don't lift with your shoulders up by your ears. Keep your shoulders down, and show them more where they need to be working in their muscle groups, where it's going to best benefit them and not cause more injury or tension in their body if they have injury.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So I definitely have everything I holistically, bring when I'm doing personal training with my clients.
Are you doing it with them, or are you just instructing them to do it?
I usually demo. So I believe that a lot of people are visual learners.
Yes.
And they need to also hear. So I bring in everything. So I might show them a movement first. Then I will have them, they might say, hey, I need to see that again. So I'll show them 1 or 2 times. And then I will go watch them and make sure that their knee is not going off to the side while they're thinking of their arms or something, and bring them back to that proper alignment.
Yeah, you're looking at their form.
Yeah.
Which is good to not cause even more injuries.
Right.
Yeah. You mentioned that you were doing a new type of teaching.
Yes.
What is it called?
Yes. So it's very similar to personal training. So it's a one-on-one type of appointment that you would make. And this is something that we're seeing pop up a lot with different franchises. It's called a stretch and flexibility coach. So what it is coming to see me for a one-on-one appointment. It can be either be 30 minutes to 55 minutes. And I help you learn to stretch further by assisting. So taking my hands and helping to assist if you're having, shoulder or pain in your back or legs, wherever those kind of aches and pains are, or you just want to increase your overall flexibility, but you need a little bit more help than just yoga or just basic stretching. This assisted stretching is going to be something you can come and see me for. And it's really, really gives you more openness, more expansiveness through your body than just yoga.
So can people that like me, I have no flexibility at all. Could you turn me into like a person, like a gymnast?
Probably not a gymnast.
That's all I could think of.
You'll feel like one. So you can visualize yourself as a gymnast.
I can visualize myself, but I will never be a gymnast. So can you get somebody to who has no flexibility like me? Can I do the splits one day?
There's a really good chance that you would get pretty far, So, but what it really is stretching in this way, this assisted stretching is going to be addressing the myofascial system. And fascia is something that people have not really gotten familiar with. And it's been kind of disregarded until the past 30 years in even the medical community. But fascia is connective tissue, and it's everywhere in our body. And think of it as a web or a net. So if we did not have all this webbing in around our muscles, bones, and joints, then all of our organs would just fall. So it's kind of a webbing, a netting to keep and hold everything in place. And it's supposed to have the consistency of like a sponge, like a moist sponge. It's supposed to be elastic. But due to dehydration from not having enough water, collagen as we age, and just from not moving, that connective tissue can dry up and it can have the consistency like a starched shirt. So you know what happens if you try and pull on a starched shirt? It can give you little tears, micro tears. Same thing can happen in our body. So learning how to stretch through yoga, through your flexibility, by having your assisted stretch, your coach assist you in stretching, it can further hydrate the fascial system in your body. A lot of people have heard of plantar fasciitis.
Yes.
So that's the fascia underneath the feet. That's connective tissue that can have inflammation. So the connective tissue, if it has too much inflammation, too much dryness, then it can cause a lot of problems in the body. And it's just now becoming very recognized that that's something that we need to integrate as part of our physical practice as well.
Oh my gosh. And it's called, again, stretch. Your
stretch and flexibility coach. You'd want to see your stretch and flexibility coach. Yeah.
And so are there classes all around that have this?
It's not a class. It's more of a modality of therapy, or like when you go to a PT, your physical therapist. So it's kind of along that line. But if someone comes to me and they have a bigger injury or something that a stretch might not be able to help, then I would refer them out to PT. But someone who just wants to, improve their everyday flexibility along, with yoga and things like that, would just come see me for those, help lengthen and
I love it. You do everything.
All under that umbrella of mind, body wellness. Yes.
Yeah. Now, is there anything else that you want to share about what you teach? Is there something else you teach that you forgot about?
I know there's so many things, right?
I know. You're just amazing. Can you think of anything else?
Nothing that I can think of that I teach right now. There's going to be some things upcoming. So the stretch and flexibility coach will be coming in April.
Okay.
And then in May is going to be something called choreo dance. And choreo dance is going to be very fun. And that brings in dance, elements of bar, and HIIT, or high intensity interval training. So it's a combo class that lasts about 50 minutes. And that's going to give you a full body workout. So strength, stretch, all of those different elements that we love all in one class. And it's fun, set to music.
And then the next day you're like, what did I do to my body? Oh my gosh.
On my days off, I just really don't move.
Well, I can understand that. You're probably tired and sore. I mean, you do
I do
everything.
yoga every day, some type of yoga every day though. Yeah.
So what kind of tips could you give our listeners about their own health and wellness? Are there any tips that you can give?
Yeah, I would say for your own health and wellness, just to, as hard as it is, carve out time. Don't put yourself last. I know that life can be overwhelming and pour in with so many different things and obligations that you feel like you need to get there and you put yourself last. Put yourself first. Carve out time, even if it's 15 minutes, to just take a walk, to move a little bit, dance, do something for yourself. And that might then make you want to do more. But just remember just that little bit of time.
Yeah, that's good advice. Is there anything else that you'd like to share or that I didn't ask? Is there something I didn't ask that you can think of?
I don't think so. I don't think there's anything that you didn't ask. And the only other thing tip that I could give or to share would be to learn about external rotation and bring that into your day. So what that means is normally we're here, we're on our computer, we're doing, we're driving. So open up the arms. So if you do one thing during the day, just open the arms and open the chest and see how that feels. Just bringing that external rotation in so that you're not stuck in this position all the time.
Yeah, I know I get stuck in that with, sitting on the couch and texting. Yeah. Or leaning my head back on a pillow. That's not great on the couch doing that. And I'm like, oh, my neck.
Yeah.
That's probably a good idea for me to use. All these other people.
Yep.
Just open it up. Okay, so where can people find you? Tell us where you teach and how we can find you. I know it's local in Washington State. So
yes, right now I'm teaching in Snoqualmie at the club at Snoqualmie Ridge. And if you go to the club at Snoqualmie Ridge website, you can look under activities. And my boss, her name is Michelle Streifel, and you can contact Michelle and get more information on how to find me. And then also my classes are listed on their website. There is a membership to belong to the club at Snoqualmie Ridge, but for fitness, there's also a way that you can talk to Michelle and see if as a non-member, or if you have a friend that is a member and you're not, see how you can look into those classes. The other thing to note is that even though it's a golf club, there is a social membership. So if you just wanted to join to use the fitness, the pool, and dining, that's a separate membership that people don't know that exists sometimes.
Oh, okay. That's great. All right. Well, I will include a link to that in the show notes. And thank you so much, Carlye, for taking time out of your busy day to talk to me and let the listeners hear all about all of your many talents.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I will be talking to you soon, and let's have coffee soon.
That sounds good, Kim. Thank you.
Thanks for coming. Okay. Bye.
Bye.